Properties of materials: soluble and insoluble. Click on any of the substances to check which substance is soluble or insoluble. Sand. Add the sand in water with help of spoon and stir it. Now observe it. Is sand soluble in water? No, it's not. Similarly, with sugar, add sugar in water and stir it. You will observe that sugar is soluble in water. Oil. Add a few drops of oil in water. What will you see? You will notice that oil is immiscible in water and when salt is added in water, you will observe that the salt is soluble in water.
We will learn about floating and sinking. Have you ever wondered why some things float and some things sink? Let's learn about floating and sinking today. What causes some things to float and some to sink? Well, it's all about something we call density. Haha, don't worry. Let me explain this. Everything around us is made up of small molecules. In some objects, tiny little objects called molecules are tightly packed together. And in others, they are loosely packed together. This is actually what density means. The objects that are tightly packed together have a higher density, and the more loosely packed objects aren't that dense. Whatever objects sink are more dense. See the stone? These marbles? And yes, these coins. They all sink in water because the molecules are jam-packed in these. Similarly, whatever objects float are less dense, like this rubber ball, this plastic bottle, and this lovely balloon. They all float in water because the molecules are loosely packed in these. Some boats and ships are large and would seem very dense, but they still float. To understand this, let me explain the Archimedes principle. It states that any object immersed in a fluid is acted upon by an upward or buoyant force equal to the weight of the fluid displaced by the object. The ship has a long and wide base, because of which the amount and weight of water displaced by it increases. So, as the weight of displaced water increases, the buoyant force exerted by the water also increases, and the ship floats on water. So, if the buoyant force is equal to the object's weight, then the object will float. If the buoyant force is less than the object's weight, then the object will sink.
Density. Why does oil float on water? Don't know the answer? No worries. We shall find the solution. realize that a large log of wood floated on water, but a comparatively smaller piece of rock sank? How is this even possible? This is possible because of density. It is the measure of the mass of an object per unit volume. In the first case, the log of wood floats on water because it has less density than water. This means that the amount of mass present in unit volume of wood is less than the amount of mass present in unit volume of water. However, in the second case, the piece of rock sinks because it has more density than water. This means that the amount of mass present in unit volume of rock is more than the amount of mass present in unit volume of water. Here, have a look. Oil is floating on water. Are you assuming that this is because of density? Yes, you are right. Oil has less density than water, hence it floats. However, there is another reason due to which oil floats on water. The reason is that both oil and water are immiscible liquids. That is, they do not mix with each other even if we shake them. They separate out into two layers when kept undisturbed for some time.
Hey!
Objects are classified as transparent, translucent, or opaque depending upon their treatment of light. Objects that allow light to pass through them are called transparent objects. Most of the light falling upon a transparent object passes through it to the other side, thereby allowing us to see through them. Glass, clean air, pure water, etc. are examples of transparent objects. Objects that do not allow any light to pass through them are called opaque objects. As a result, we cannot see through them. When light falls on an opaque object, its shadow is formed on the other side of it. Wood, sheets of metal, dark-colored plastics, rocks, etc. are examples of opaque objects. Objects that are partially transparent and partially opaque are called translucent objects. They allow light to pass through them in a scattered or diffused manner. Frosted glass, tracing paper, greased paper, etc. are examples of translucent objects.